Moonshiners star Danielle Parton used her famous last name to build a whiskey empire. When you think of whiskey, you might picture the rolling hills of Scotland or the rustic, aged barrels of Kentucky, where tradition and craftsmanship define the spirit. However, in the modern world of distilled spirits, new names have emerged, blending old-school techniques with innovative flair. Among these rising stars is Danielle Parton, a name that resonates for its familial ties to both fame and heritage. While Danielle's surname may sound familiar due to its association with the iconic Dolly Parton, her journey is a unique one. Using her famous last name as both a brand and a foundation, Danielle has built a whiskey empire that stands out for its distinct character, passion for craft distilling, and dedication to preserving Appalachian heritage. A legacy of music and mountain roots. Danielle Parton's journey to creating a whiskey empire is anything but ordinary. Born and raised in the Appalachian region, Danielle is deeply tied to the traditions of her family's heritage. Although she's often introduced as the cousin of Dolly Parton, Danielle's own path was one carved through the mountains of Tennessee rather than the glitzy lights of Hollywood or the country music world. Growing up in a family with such a storied musical legacy could have placed immense pressure on Danielle to follow a similar path in the entertainment industry. However, her passion for entrepreneurship and her connection to the land around her steered her in a completely different direction. While her famous cousin's career skyrocketed in the spotlight, Danielle found her own way to shine, not on stage, but through a very different craft: whiskey. Like many of the world's most successful business people, Danielle's interest in the distilling world was inspired by personal history. Her ancestors had been moonshiners, illegally producing whiskey in the backwoods of the Appalachian Mountains long before it was ever mainstream. In fact, the Parton family's moonshining roots go deep. The family was known for their skills at creating high-quality spirits in small, remote batches, and it wasn't uncommon for whiskey to be passed from one generation to the next. As an adult, Danielle was drawn to both the legacy and the challenges of her family's past. The appeal wasn't simply romantic nostalgia for bygone days, but a strong desire to craft something with her own hands, something that could not only honor her ancestry, but could also stand on its own merits in a rapidly changing industry. The birth of a whiskey empire. Determined to make her mark, Danielle Parton leveraged her family's legacy, combining the traditional know-how passed down from her ancestors with a modern business acumen that allowed her to take her passion to new heights. She didn't just want to create a distillery. She wanted to create a whiskey brand that would resonate with people who valued quality, craftsmanship, and authenticity. And thus, Parton Distillery was born. Starting with a small-scale operation, Danielle worked tirelessly to perfect her product. For her, it wasn't enough to just slap a famous last name on a bottle and call it a day. Danielle understood that success in the spirits industry required an intimate knowledge of the product, a commitment to quality, and a connection with the people who would enjoy it. She visited distilleries across the country, learned the intricacies of the distillation process, and sought out the best barrels and ingredients to create a unique, high-quality whiskey that would represent the heart of the Appalachian region. As a result, Parton whiskey quickly gained attention for its smooth, flavorful profile, which was a reflection of both the mountains and the people who had lived there for generations. It wasn't just about whiskey. It was about telling a story. A story that began long before Danielle's birth and continued to evolve with each batch of whiskey produced. But what made Parton whiskey stand out wasn't just the quality of the product, it was also the brand itself. Danielle used her platform as a reality TV star on the hit show Moonshiners to showcase the authenticity of her product. The TV series, which follows the clandestine world of illegal moonshine makers in Appalachia, served as the perfect backdrop for her transition from the traditional illegal practice to a legitimate, thriving business. As an expert in the craft, Danielle's knowledge was evident, and her behind-the-scenes involvement in the distilling process was featured on the show, giving fans an up-close look at the creation of her whiskey. Her appearance on Moonshiners helped to solidify Danielle's credibility and appeal. With the show's audience already familiar with the allure of Appalachian moonshine, Danielle was able to tap into a pre-existing fan base that admired her expertise and authenticity. What set her apart from other distillers, however, was her ability to balance the tradition of moonshining with modern standards of craftsmanship, blending old-world knowledge with state-of-the-art distilling methods. A whiskey crafted with Carriette, the heart of Parton Distillery's success, is the whiskey itself. Danielle's philosophy on whiskey making is rooted in patience and precision, values passed down through generations of Parton Moonshiners. Unlike mass-produced whiskeys, which often rely on speed and volume, Parton whiskey is all about taking time to perfect every detail. Danielle works closely with her team of distillers to ensure that each batch meets her exacting standards, from the selection of grains to the aging process in oak barrels. For Danielle, whiskey making is a sacred tradition. She insists on using locally sourced ingredients, particularly grains that are grown in the Appalachian region. This not only supports local farmers, but also adds a unique flavor profile to the spirits. Every bottle of Parton whiskey tells the story of the land it came from, a land rich in history, culture, and a tradition of craftsmanship that stretches back centuries. Another key factor in Danielle's success has been her innovative approach to marketing and branding. While her famous last name certainly helped open doors, Danielle never relied solely on it. She built a brand that stands on its own merits, connecting with consumers through a shared appreciation for heritage, quality, and craftsmanship. Her whiskey isn't just a product, it's a symbol of hard work, dedication, and the importance of community. Expanding the empire years, the demand for Parton whiskey grew, so did Danielle's ambitions. What started as a small, family-run operation quickly expanded into a fully operational distillery, employing dozens of people from the local community. The distillery became a point of pride for the region, bringing jobs and economic growth to an area that had long been underserved by large-scale businesses. Danielle's whiskey empire didn't stop at production, however. She soon began to expand the brand into other areas of the spirits market, including cocktails, limited edition releases, and merchandise. Her passion for whiskey making extended beyond just selling bottles. She wanted to create an experience that people could connect with. To that end, she opened up the distillery for tours and tastings, offering visitors a chance to not only sample the whiskey, but also learn about the history of the land, the craft of distilling, and the story of the Parton family. As a result, Parton Distillery has become a popular destination for whiskey enthusiasts, tourists, and fans of Moonshiners. Danielle's ability to connect with her audience on a personal level has helped to elevate the brand into a beloved symbol of Appalachian pride. Legacy in the making. While Danielle Parton's whiskey empire is still relatively young, it's already clear that she's made a lasting impact on the spirits industry. Her success story is a testament to the power of family, heritage, and the pursuit of passion. Danielle didn't just inherit a famous last name, she used it as a platform to build something truly special. Through her hard work and dedication, Danielle Parton has created a whiskey empire that is deeply rooted in the traditions of the Appalachian region, yet innovative enough to stand out in the modern market. She's taken the legacy of moonshining that runs through her family's veins and turned it into a thriving, legitimate business that will continue to grow for years to come. In the world of whiskey, where tradition is revered and authenticity is prized, Danielle Parton has carved out a place for herself as a true innovator, someone who has used her famous last name to build not just a business, but a legacy. The world of spirits is steeped in tradition, a legacy passed down from generation to generation, blending science, art, and a touch of mystery. Few names are as synonymous with tradition as that of Parton, thanks to the famous country music icon, Dolly Parton. While Dolly's music career has rightfully earned her worldwide fame, her cousin Danielle Parton has been making her own name, not in the spotlight of country music, but in the world of whiskey distilling. Danielle's journey from the shadow of her famous relative to the leader of her own whiskey empire is a testament to the power of family, heritage, and an unyielding entrepreneurial spirit. The Parton Legacy. Music meets Moonshiners. Danielle Parton's path to building a whiskey empire may have been influenced by her famous last name, but it was her own grit, determination, and love for her Appalachian roots that fueled her success. Growing up in the mountainous regions of Tennessee, Danielle was surrounded by a culture that celebrated both music and the more secretive tradition of moonshining. Moonshiners, illegally distilling whiskey in the hills, were an integral part of the Appalachian heritage, and the Parton family had long been involved in the craft. While her cousin Dolly became an iconic figure in